Here's the stats. Thank you, Sam. That's extricated me from a big hole. 24 shots and no goals. It wasn't a bad game to watch. Bournemouth thought they'd taken the lead, but on the offside, thanks to VAR, eventually in the first half, denying Semenyo what would have been a first goal in a while.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is, I think, a little worrisome a little bit from Chelsea, right? Because, I mean, in the first half, they didn't have the shot on target. I think it came right after halftime. And if you look at Bournemouth, not only their XG, and I don't very often go into that, but they've had a number of chances. Semenyo, wonderful once again. I mean, so many chances by himself. He created for others as well. And think about, I'm sure you saw that chance that Donaldson somehow missed after Semenyo beat Gusto on the left-hand side. So, look, after losing to Leeds for Chelsea, as we mentioned before, with Arsenal dropping points, this was a great opportunity. And okay, we can say that Chelsea are probably not ready just yet to be Premier League champions, and that's probably fair to say. They're young, that process is still ongoing, of course, and a massive rotation for them from game to game as well. But, when you have an opportunity to get closer to Arsenal, this is the moment. So for them to miss that opportunity, it's worrisome. Two games like that, they didn't look good at all today.
Yeah, right at the start, I said 3 points separate the top three. If Chelsea had won at Leeds and won at Bournemouth, 3 points would separate the top four. They'd be on 30 points. I know you've spoken about them being young, but they've got talented players. Cole Palmer's back. It will take a little bit of time for him to find his feet again. But you can't have that inconsistency when you've got that talent available to you. So what's the next step? How do you get that consistency if you're Chelsea?
Yeah, Chelsea for me are difficult because, I mean, I don't necessarily know or understand if there is a style of play with them right now, right? I mean, if you had to pick something that they do consistently well, I don't know what that may be. I worry a little bit in terms of finishing because, who's their number 9, truly, right? Liam Delap obviously has been injured, got injured today in the game as well. He's got some suspension, silly suspension as well. So he's out. João Pedro, if you remember, preseason Club World Cup came on the scene for Chelsea. Wonderful, right? And he's been off form now for a long time. Mark Guiu, I mean, coming off the bench, not much today. It almost, if you remember, Pedro Neto, who's been, I think, one of the most consistent players, if not the best player that Chelsea has had this season. Maybe he was their best number 9 in that game against Barcelona in the Champions League. He was absolutely wonderful playing the false 9 right now. So, I'm not saying that this is their massive problem, but given the players that I've mentioned that they've gotten, and number 9 was very, very important for them, today was an example of all of them misfiring.
You see, you don't know if that's the biggest problem. It's certainly one of them, and you're right to bring it up. And I was watching this game, there was this battle between Senesi, the Bournemouth defender, and Liam Delap, and they were at each other's throats for the first half hour. And then they went up for a challenge, and he came down, Senesi, on Liam Delap. And I don't know what he's done to his shoulder, but he had to go off. Guiu came on. Is he just struck by bad luck all the time? Because if he gets a run of games, then they might have solved their number 9 issue. But he just can't seem to do that right now.
Yeah, little silliness, as I mentioned, right? The suspension that even as can't remember the game now, but Maresca wasn't very happy about that, just coming back. He's had some injuries. Again, just like João Pedro, when he came in, in the summer Club World Cup once again, he was the sort of player that almost everything that he touched was either a goal or something good came of it. So, he is an important player. And right now that rotation is going to continue, I suppose. So they felt that they fix the problem that they perceived that they had in the offseason. And right now it's, I'll tell you what, I mean, João Pedro is going to have to come into form very, very quickly.
Friend of mine who used to play international football for Australia and suffered with injuries said, for every month you've been out, you kind of need another week after you slowly get back to full fitness. Cole Palmer was replaced just before the hour mark. When do you think we will see Cole Palmer firing on full cylinders, given the amount of time that he's missed because of injury?
Yeah, it usually takes some time, but I wouldn't worry about a player like Cole Palmer, right? because he's such a technical player, a touch player that I call. The more he gets, into the game, and he's always going to get the touches on the ball, that comes back quickly, right? I mean, in terms of fitness, I think he's okay. He's not the player that's, that they depend on, going from box to box. So I think for him, it's just to get that momentum and just being comfortable on the ball. And in order to do that, he's going to have a lot of it. They're going to find him because he's got that creativity, of course, as well. So I think the more he gets the touches, which I expect to be every game, I think he's going to come back quickly to the level that we've seen before.
Last word on Chelsea. Given the week that they've had and the points that they have dropped, what's a good season for them?
Well, I mean, Champions League, they have to be there. I mean, with the money, everybody's spending money right now, but turnover, I mean, number of players over the last 2 or 3 seasons, they have, at Chelsea or players that have been loaned out. This is nothing new with Chelsea. Obviously, they've committed to young players. They continue to look for more. Look, I mean, they have to be in the top 4. I mean, that's what it's all about. When you talk about Premier League, you outside of it, as you've mentioned to me, I mean, this season, there's a possibility of more teams making it, right? The 5th, maybe even 6th team, but absolutely have to be there. And I don't know if that's just enough, right? Because if you need to show progress in this one, you'd like to think that Chelsea are going to be there or thereabout of the top 2, maybe, right? Points are important sometimes. You want to finish first. If you miss it by point or 2, it makes no difference. But I think psychologically, for Chelsea, their hierarchy, for the players as well, that progress, sort of what we've seen from Arsenal in the last few years, right? I mean, twice finishing 8th and kind of moving up, and they're at the top of the table. I think that Chelsea would expect the same.